Interpreting the heavens is like practicing medicine or predicting the weather. The Mazzaroth gives us clues, but not the entire story. The light triggers are prophetic and subject to multiple interpretations, but through our combined efforts at our Magi meetings, we have prepared a summary and exhortation for the people of Israel, its government, and the IDF concerning the signs of the heavens which are now upon them. We do not claim that we have this entire thing figured out, but there are only clues to this breakdown of this great sign that's happening on July 27th, 2018. It is a blood moon over the land of Israel, the Middle East, parts of Eastern Africa, and India. Many people in that region of the world will be able to see the blood moon. Now, what's interesting is that when we broke down this sign by using the 22 Hebrew letters and comparing them to the 22 ecliptical bodies, we discovered that there are a few interesting words which were mentioned, which have to deal with two locations in the geological area of Israel. So, let me go ahead and read our transcript. And like I said, we are not trying to be prophets here. We are just taking the signs and trying our best to interpret the signs with what limited understanding and tools that we have, so that we could try to figure out what the Creator is telling us by reason of these great signs. Light trigger, sign of the heaven, in effect for July 27, 2018, over the geographical areas of East Africa, Middle East to India, including Israel. Attempts to interpret the sign by the Magi team are as follows. Events are interpreted in earthly affair formula of the natural positions of the sun, moon, and planets in their respective constellations by reason of right ascension and the aspectual sciences of geometry in the form of degrees. We also formulate the planets and signs by reverse engineering the 22 ancient alphabetic letters to the 22 bodies on the ecliptic, so that we can actually interpret and translate words that the heavens are speaking when they are in aspect. Aspect by natural order and light trigger in right ascension at midheaven are Mars within 1 degree aspect to midheaven in the blood moon over Israel during a major light trigger on July 27th, 2018. Mars is at its closest approach to Earth and is the brightest star in the sky and will be joined in union with the blood moon. Mars and the moon rule the houses of Cancer and Aries, of which two other bodies are in opposition and square aspect to the Sun in Cancer and Uranus in Aries. By this understanding, the Sun and Uranus lose the battle. Moon and Mars are at extreme influences and are determining a great malefic or conflict by reason of a ruling opposition to square angle of Uranus and the Sun. Mars and the Moon are both in Capricorn. Mars will retrograde after this event into Sagittarius for 2 months, bouncing back and forth, giving constructive interference to the original sign, prolonging the event it produces. The main indicators of the event indicates an aggressive change, either by violence or evil schemes, but not necessarily sinful in the way that most would view it, but a conniving scheme that will bring destruction, but it could be for good or for bad. The totality will be over Iran, which could possibly mean Iran would play some sort of a role in this sign, but at this time we are not exactly sure how or if this is even true or not. The translation of the aspects in light trigger are very interesting. At the moment, we would recommend to watch all water treatment facilities in Israel and pay special close attention to the area of Mamre. If there's any ruined cities near Mamre as well. If there are any bodies of water or water treatment facilities or any type of water that people might drink in the land of Israel, pay very close attention to these areas. We would recommend maybe security checkpoints for a possible infiltrator that could do something to the water that would cause harm. Possibly a white substance. We are not sure in this area because the language breakdown is so vast that it's just kind of up to any particular person's interpretation. Now, we are not sure if this area of Mamre will produce the evil threat that causes harm, or if the evil threat that causes harm happens in this area. We recommend activating any sleepers to investigate any plans in the work of poisoning or destroying any vital economical water sources or damaging any bodies of waters or dams in all of the land of Israel. The Magi team and I have also wondered if it is Israel itself that would be causing the harm to a water system possibly belonging to the Palestinians. If this were the case, then all units should be ready for action and the reservists activated for a growing possible threat, which we believe will happen shortly after. We recommend securing all ports and screening all people coming into the country. Now, the aspects that we predicted these last couple of months came true for Israel. I tried to email the IDF very specific dates concerning the Mazzaroth and what it was saying. It said, please gather burning. And when the planets were in trigger, trine aspect, those were the dates that Israel was in constant conflict. When the aspect stopped, the conflict stopped. Now, I emailed the IDF twice trying to warn them to watch out for these particular dates, and I believe that my warning fell on deaf ears. They were blindsided with arson kites, rockets, and not to mention the whole world at that time looked like it wanted to just murder itself. There was chaos happening all over the world. We cannot communicate to the people of Israel enough that this sign has violence and despair written all over it. A possible diminishing of wealth is also apparent for living sustainability, such as water or resources. The exact moment that this sign will be activated is unknown. Lunar eclipses are known as tricksters and do not play by the rules of normal interpretation of when the actual events will happen in real time. Now, dates to watch out for, which seem important to us, would be 7/27/18 through 8/10/18, 8/20/18 through 8/31/18, 8/24/18, especially 8/24/18, and 9/25/18 through 9/27/18. Any steps that you feel necessary to take with regards to this information should be done now. If our interpretation is correct, then the evil plan that causes harm is already in motion. We don't think that the evil plan can't be stopped, but we do believe that a damage control can be implemented. A person of great importance is part of this evil plan from what we can tell in the translation, which I am about to read. Now, these aspects, which will soon be upon Israel, are some of the worst we have seen yet, but there are a few more very bad signs scheduled for the near future, which still needs some more looking into, but from what I've seen, they do not look good. We are not sure if this blood moon is bad for Israel or bad for Palestinians or bad for Iran, but we feel that since Ursa Major is listed in the translation, it represents the greater fold of Israel, and the fact that there is an actual city listed in the translation in Israel, that somehow it plays a part in this great sign. We think a worse conflict is coming, so be prepared. The conflict this sign produces could last for several months and be more intense than the previous aspects which we observed in June and July. You will be victorious, but it will take some time. Translations. Planets first all square. Ain Resh, conjunct Moon and Mars. Enemy, foe, awake, wakeful. Now, Ain Vav Resh means to rouse oneself, awake, to be barred, be exposed, to blind, skin, leather. Resh Ain means evil, bad, worthless, harm, misfortune. It also could mean friend, companion, associate, thought, purpose, aim, noise. Yod Resh, Uranus Moon square. Translate here. Resh, Yod means moisture, but could not find they couldn't find a Yod Resh, but a Yod Resh Aleph means to fear, revere, timid, awe-inspiring. Yod Resh Hey means to throw, cast, shoot, to teach, instruct. Yod Ain, Uranus Mars square. Translate here means to sweep together and carry away, shovel. Ain Yod is the city in Israel, which means ruin or heap of ruins. Shin Resh, Sun Moon opposition. Translate here means chief, leader, captain, prince, ruler, nobleman, singer, poet, navel string, chain, bracelet. Now Resh Shin means poor or beggar. Shin Ain, Sun Mars opposition. Translate here means to gaze at, look about, to care for, hour, short while, moment. Ain Shin means moth or the constellation Ursa Major, such as in Job chapter 9 verse 9. Shin Yod, Sun Uranus square. Translate here. It means gift, present. Shin Yod Aleph means loftiness, pride, highest point. Yod Shin means there is, there are possessions, property, existence, substance, reality. Yod Resh Shin, Sun Mars Uranus squared, trine pyramid aspect. Translate here means to inherit, take possession, to make poor, impoverish. Now Yod Shin Resh means upright, straight, pleasing, to lead straight, was upright. Shin Yod Resh means to sing, to leave over, revere, song, chant, chain, bracelet, remnant, remainder, residue, survivor, wayfarer, traveler. Shin Resh Yod means allowed, permitted. Yod Resh Shin Ain, Sun, Moon, Uranus, Mars, complete sign. Translate here. Shin, Resh, Yod, Ain, Hey means stretching, extending. Now Ain, Resh, Shin, and Yod as a suffix means my couch or my bed. Ain, Shin, Resh, Yod as a suffix means my riches, my wealth, my tithe. Whereas a prefix, it would be they or he will tithe, or they, he, will become rich, wealthy. Shin, Yod, Ain, Resh, with Shin being the prefix, means who, that, witch forest, honeycomb. Planets in trigger to sign all square. Cheth, Resh, Moon, Capricorn. Translate here. Chet, Vav, Resh means to throw white, pale, white stuff, hole, socket of the eye. Cheth, Ain, Capricorn, Mars. Translate here. No known translations for this even with Vav or Hey. Cheth, Ain, Resh, Moon, Mars, Capricorn. Translate here. No known translations for this even with Vav or Hey. Zadi, Shin, Sun, Cancer. Translate here. No known translations for this even with Vav or Hey. Mim, Yod, Uranus, Aries. Translate here means whoever, someone, a syllable in music, Yod. Mim means sea, lake, large basin, or reservoir. Yod, Samek, secondary trine to Uranus, Saturn, planets only. Translate here. Samek Yod means the seventh note in psalmization. Zain, Samek, Saturn, Sagittarius, translate here. No known translation for this even with Vav or He. Mem, Yod, Zain, Samek, complete trine, translate here. No known translations for this even with Vav or He. Mem, Zain, sign in trine, translate here. Mem, Zain. He means exhausted, sucked out, fatigued, sprinkler. What is this? There is also Zain Meme He, meaning plan, decree, evil plan, wickedness, incest, prostitution. Cancer, Aries, Capricorn. Zadi, Cheth, Meme. Meme, Zadi, Cheth means forehead or brow. Zadi, Meme, Chet means to sprout, spring up, grow, plant. Name in Messiah, one with small ears. Mem, Chet, Tzadi means to smite through, wound severely, ladling jar. And Chet, Zain, Meme means to cut off. Paleo partial, pictograph translation, and normal translation. Chet, Ain, Resh could be the focused on the head, Messiah. Ain, Chet, Resh could be seen as the fence of the head, Messiah. Tzadi, Shin, could be seen as righteous fire or righteous indignation. Shin, Tzadi, could be consumed with righteousness or destroying righteousness or the righteousness. Tzadi is a picture of a fish hook or a hunter, and so the picture meaning could be to pull something out or to consume or destroy, or to hunt something in order to consume or destroy. Or the reverse could be to destroy the hunter or the catcher. Now, Meme, Yod, Tzadi, Chet, Ain, Resh, Shin will be broken into 3 words. Here is some of what he came up with. Chet, Resh, Shin means to cut in, engrave, plow, to be silent, be dumb, be deaf, engraver, wooden, height, earthenware, potsherd. With the mim in front, it means to plow. Mim, Ain, Shin, Resh means tenth, tithe, which leaves Tzadi, Chet, Yod as the next word, which is Tzadi, Chet, is dazzling, glowing, bright, clear, pure, and a Yod as a prefix means hey, they will, and as a suffix it means it is mine. So it could be he will dazzle or glow bright or my dazzling glowing. Mim, Shin, Chet, Resh means blackened, darkened, gloomy, which leaves Yod, Ain, Tzadi, which means to advise, give counsel, to consult. Or Yod, Tzadi, Ain means to lay, spread, proposed, background. Also, Ain, Tzadi, Yod means wooden or woody. Mim, Shin, Ain, Resh means controller of prices, one who conjectures, or an estimator, estimated, which leaves Yod, Tzadi, Chet, which goes with what is in number 1. Mim, Shin, Chet, Resh means dawn, blackened, gloomy, darkened, which leaves Ain, Tzadi, Yod, which means woody, wooden, or my tree. And that is the breakdown of the signs of the heavens, reverse translated into Hebrew words. Michael did that translation for us. Also a man named Zvi, and Michael's wife did that translation as well. She helped. Now, as far as the planets and house philosophy, the sun represents vitality, proclaims the year, proclaims the month astral sign. And major prophetic God-moving events happen with the sun in its corresponding constellation, proclaiming mankind's current age at equinox, first of major interpretation in formula, and there are two different ways of interpretation from vernal equinox. The moon represents change, mobility, female, mother, finger pointer, full or empty. It does not aspect in the way people think. Maternal nature, mothering, and emotions. Mars represents the lesser malefic, action, energy, fire, distress, war, hot, trailblazer, violence, easily agitated, spontaneous, out of control, animal nature, aggression, anger, survival instinct, assertive, directed, forthright, adventurous, impulsive, rash, impatient, aggressive, and forceful. Uranus represents electric and crammed with change. Uranus is forward looking, it balks at tradition, its focus is originality and individuality. Cancer represents protection, Capricorn represents change, Aries represents blood or survival. Mathematics to the most modern standards used today. This is the mathematical breakdown of the sign done by Michael Hutchinson. The closest approach is at 1941 hours UTC, and the smallest angle is 5 degrees, 0.55, 0.34, 0.1581. The conjunction between Mars and the Moon occurs at 2216 hours UTC. At that time index, they have the same right ascension. The angle between them at that time is 6 degrees, 0.2, 0.34, 0.72948. At 1941 hours UTC, the topocentric ECS angular separation between the Sun and the Moon is 179 degrees, 0.21, 0.19, 0.273. The Moon's ACS coordinates at this time are azimuth 145 degrees, 0.32, 0.30, 0.63, geodetic, azimuth 140 degrees, 0.52, 0.54, 0.63, magnetic, altitude plus 30 degrees, 0.26, 0.55, 0.75, geometric, altitude 30 degrees, 0.32, 0.36, 0.04, refraction. At 2216 hours UTC, the topocentric ECS angular separation between the Sun and the Moon is 179 degrees, 0.05, 0.36, 0.768. The Moon's ACS coordinates at this time are azimuth 188 degrees, 0.10, 0.40, 0.09, geodetic, azimuth 183 degrees, 0.31, 0.4, 0.09, magnetic, altitude plus 38 degrees, 0.15, 0.5, 0.77, geometric, altitude plus 39 degrees, 0.26, 0.40, 0.77, refraction. This is for someone who would be at the Temple Mount. Now the times and angles will vary for the other locations because of parallax and atmospheric conditions. The penumbra and umbra radii for the eclipse at 1941 hours UTC are 1 degree, 0.10, 0.26, 0.324, penumbra 0 degrees, 0.38, 0.55, 0.603, umbra. Throughout the closest approach between Mars and the Moon will be eclipsed. By the time it is in conjunct, however, the eclipse will be over. and that would be considered a astronomical conjunct. Now, as for the meridian transit, this is when the azimuth is 180 degrees. If the magnetic azimuth is used, then it's closer, but it's no longer aligned to the ecliptic. Magnetic and astronomical north are different by negative 6.48 degrees. Now, the lunar meridian transit takes place at 2148 minutes 15 seconds UTC. In the ACS frame, the meridian transit of the moon and Mars is within negative 7 degrees 0.24 and negative 10.42. That's well within even most conservative tolerances. This puts the precision of the alignment to within 1/3 of the apparent diameter of the moon. The coordinates for the Temple Mount are north 31 degrees 0.46.31, east 35 degrees 0.14.07, elevation 740 meters. Just remember that the ECS and ACS are entirely different coordinate reference frames. These things align in the local ACS azimuthal coordinate system, but there's not really anything significant in the ECS equatorial coordinate system. Also, Jerusalem's magnetic declination is east 6.48 degrees. If magnetic north is going to be used, then the culmination time index of 21 hours 48 minutes 15 seconds UTC will have large errors. So the way this will look in the sky when the moon is due south over the Temple Mount, Mars will be positioned about 6 degrees below the center of the moon. 6 degrees 0.18.6 to 6 degree 0.27.5 is the range from start to finish. The moon and Mars will not appear all that special until it's on the local meridian and the moon starts turning the same color as Mars. By the way, Mars is superior opposition at the time. Geometrically, the Sun, Earth, Moon, and Mars are in a straight line from the perspective of the Sun's geographic center. The Moon would be occulted by the Earth. Mars would appear directly below the Earth, below the south pole of the Earth in terms of right ascension. The alignment with Mars is very close, well under 1 degree. However, declination is not close at all. The angular separation between the moon and Mars is over 6 degrees. Looking at the data, the strongest presentation will be to focus on the horizontal coordinates. The equatorial coordinates do not support any great precision. The most impressive thing is going to be found in how this alignment of the moon and Mars actually appears to those in Israel at the time it occurs. When the moon is directly south of Jerusalem, Mars will be located almost directly below the moon. This will occur toward the end of the lunar eclipse. However, when the moon is much closer to totality, Mars will make its closest approach to the moon at 1941 minutes UTC. Just as the eclipse will be ending, Mars will be aligning to the moon at 2216 UTC. This determines the Sun's apparent coordinates and distance. Using it is accurate to 1 arc second over the next 2,000 plus or negative 2,000 to plus 1,000 years. Knowing the Sun's location in this way, we can determine the phases of all the planets. Obviously, the average person will only notice this in lunar phases, as it was. It is within 0.001%. With the new tighter tolerances, this will now be 0.00001%. According to the new VSOP 87D4 series, this equals 345 degrees, 0.220, 6.4835, negative 0.0 degrees, 0.0.4761, 0.99206626129198 astronomical unit, 148.410.995.022313 km. The error in the radius is now only 0.0428 km. It won't always be that close, but having the Earth's distance to 42.08 meters, it's amazing. At least for this case, the accuracy is 99.9999997164662%. I totally understand if most of you guys didn't really understand a lot of that last part. It's kind of hard for me to understand. Those would be great questions to ask the astronomical mathematician Michael Hutchinson, who is part of the Magi team. So, anyway, this is what we have for you. Let's pray for Israel. Let's pray that some craziness doesn't happen. After all, the Ninevites had an amazing sign that happened in their day when Jonah came to preach and tell them to repent. There was a solar eclipse that happened. God told Jonah to tell the people in 40 days, and you got 40 days before it's all over, basically. And if you look at where the stars were positioned at the 40-day mark, you will notice a dark death was scheduled for the heavens for Nineveh, because when he got there and started preaching, a solar eclipse happened, which was a big deal. People actually listened to him based on that. Later on, Jupiter hits the area of the eclipse. It was a righteous judgment that was about to be poured out on Nineveh, and 40 days later, Mars was in its sign of Scorpio. So, if you know anything about how to interpret the heaven, you would know that the Ninevites were pretty much done for. But they repented, they prayed, they fasted, and the great evil that was written in the heavens for them was postponed for a very long time. And that society thrived for many more years. So keep that in mind next time, when we have some bad news written in the heaven. It doesn't always mean it's bad news. Sometimes God might change his mind. So, with that said, you guys have a good night. And basically, this was just done for, one, educational purposes, and two, to keep records. And if what we are saying could happen actually happens, then we will go back through this again with a fine-tooth comb and figure out where we were in error and where we were right. So, have a good one, folks. Shalom.